It would help if I had that turned up. Phone turned down. See? Real estate for real with Eric Pettigo. That's me. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Today I have a guest on who actually reached out to me. That puts you in a very rare company.
Does it?
My friend. Yeah, most people run from me.
Well, I was excited. I've seen your podcast before, so I was like, I got to reach out and see if he can get me on.
It's very cool. If anybody ever says, hey, can I come on? The answer is always yes. Absolutely, you can. So, Jeremy Howard.
Yep.
With me today. And what makes this, pretty cool, you sent me the email.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, man, absolutely. I don't know that we'd ever even talked before, right? Have we?
In passing, maybe?
Maybe.
And just here and there, either at the office or at one of the events.
I saw you at the Winter Social. I admired you from a distance.
I appreciate that.
You were, I believe the term, it's cutting a rug.
Breaking a leg.
Yeah, right? We were over there, and I was like, who is that dancing? And I was like, somebody's got some skills there. So I go over to Clay. He said, that's Jeremy. He's on our team, and he's a great dancer.
I'm the dancing realtor, yep.
Yeah.
Dancing realtor.
Yeah.
I started dancing probably 15, 20 years ago. And,
Really?
Yep. That was one of the very first hobbies that I had ever seriously gotten into. And I took a liking to it and just kind of developed from there. And then I ended up teaching kids and then kind of went and did gymnastics after that. And I'm still doing gymnastics today. But, it's been fun.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, all right. How did you get into dancing? And so I know
it's like one of those things that how do you get into something like that?
Right.
As a kid, I was very, very social person, right? As I am as an adult. And, but I was also not I guess you'd say hanging out with the right crowd as a kid.
Yeah.
Troublemaker, always going out and getting into something. And, my mom was looking for something for me to get into that would kind of take my attention, take my, get me just kind of into something that would set my focus. And I had a cousin that did it, and he was already dancing probably for 2 years or something like that. And he's like, hey, man, why don't you come do this? And I'm like, I don't know, dance, what,
Right.
And because normally people, they don't, especially it's easier as a kid, right, to go into something like dance because you're a kid, you want to try everything. So, he asked me to come take a couple of classes. I took a couple of classes and ended up really liking the dance teacher that was my mentor at the time, Timothy Logan. And I don't know, it just stuck with me. It clicked.
That's very cool, man.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
It came very easy to me, I think, and that's kind of what being able to pick up on choreography and come up with my own choreography and figuring out how my body moves, and I just liked it.
See, because you see some people, I've known some friends over the years and stuff that just kind of can.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you either got some kind of fluidity to you, or
right.
Some people are stiff as boards.
And that's fine, right? And so I didn't know that. I was like, oh, this guy can dance.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was
most people when they look at me, they're like, you can dance? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, and really well.
Yeah. I mean, not as well as I used to be able to, but I can still bust a move. That's for sure.
Still bust a move. That's so that's really cool. So I had no idea this was an actual thing. And you teach too?
I did, yeah. I used to teach hip hop for, like I said, 15 years plus. And then I kind of switched over to gymnastics because I had a buddy who went to a gym and they needed a hip hop choreographer there. So I ended up going over there to teach hip hop, but then I ended up teaching gymnastics and then just been doing that since.
And so you're still doing that?
The gymnastics, yeah.
You're still teaching gymnastics. And where do you do that at? We've got a lot of realtors who listen who have kids who might want to get into it, man. Let's plug you.
Capital Elite Athletics on the North End. I've been teaching there for years, and we have a fantastic staff. And the owner, Badu Adamako, he's the funniest guy you'll ever meet.
Cool. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
All right. So, so many unique personalities that come through here, man. So that is.
Am I your first person who come up on here with that and being a dancer?
From that standpoint, I believe. I mean, I've been to some of these social functions, and I'm sure a few of these realtors after a few cocktails,
I tell them like
turn into dancers.
Stay in the box, right? So you have create a little box around you and stay in that box. You can't go wrong with that.
It's not me, man. I
think everybody has it in them. They just a lot of people are afraid to either be embarrassed by what they're doing or just don't know what to do, but. Sometimes you just kind of move around.
Just move around, right? I mean, it's a vulnerable thing.
Yeah.
Because you are just, and like, I used to play drums. Like I've got rhythm, you know what I mean? Like but just.
When it comes to that, it's a different,
I
different dog.
don't know. It's just, my body just goes, nah, just maybe nod your head a little bit. You know what I mean? Just maybe do that.
Snap your fingers.
Yeah. I don't break out the air guitar. Whatever you do, don't break out the air guitar.
I don't know. The Q-tip is, that's my go-to.
What's the Q-tip?
Never seen the Q-tip?
No, man. What's the Oh, it's literally
you're sticking with the moves.
All right. I think I could do that one.
You got the dice rolling, you got the lawnmower.
I know about the dice roll. I know about the lawnmower. Right? I've seen all those. Is anybody doing the Running Man anymore, or is that?
I mean, very specifically, but yeah.
This is awesome. All right. Okay.
But so Clay too, like when because he had already knew that I had danced, just because he was really good friends with my brother, and so he's like always telling me like, yeah, man, when you gonna bust a move? When you gonna bust a move? And I'm like, I don't know. And then when we went to the Winter Social, I was like, all right, guys, I'll do it one time.
Yeah, that's a great time to do it, man. Way to like really introduce yourself to this.
It's like nobody else is out on the dance floor, but maybe I can bring some people out. I don't know.
Did you? Did people come out after that?
I don't think so.
Well,
I tried.
Well, and maybe what people thought after that was, I'm not following that.
No, he beat it.
Yeah. So I did admire. I said, oh man. So and Clay said, yeah, he's like a newer agent on my team. So, all right, so this guy must have confidence because he's a new agent with like the largest brokerage in Central Illinois at like probably his first social event, like big social event. Right.
Yeah, I think that was, other than like the little food parties we kind of
right. And he's out there getting it.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing with me and dance is like it doesn't matter where I'm at. If I have an opportunity and I'm like feeling into it a little bit, that night, then I don't mind busting a move in front of people.
That's super cool. All right, so we're not going to talk about you dancing the whole time. We can if you want, but we obviously, this is a real estate podcast. We're a couple of realtors sitting here talking. I want to know, I guess, what got you into the real estate business and what you were doing before.
So before, I was a truck driver. I had done that for about 7 years, off and on different places, and I had just these last 3 to 4 years start, growing a family and stuff like that. And trucking is a very good business for if you want to make money. Right?
Yeah,
it provides a great stream of income, and some jobs provide flexibility, some jobs don't. The job that I had been working at the time, it was night shift, so I was driving from Decatur to Indianapolis every single night. But I was home during the day. And we ended up expecting our second child, and it just kind of clicked to me that like, I don't want to leave my significant other, at home with 2 kids by herself. Right?
Sure.
And God forbid something happened and I'm miles away.
Right.
So I was like, what can I do? I was already thinking this was probably around the time that I was going to start ending my trucking career and move on to something else. But I was like, what am I going to do? And I'd always talked to Clay about becoming a realtor. I think it was like 6 or 7 years ago. We had met out, and I talked to him a little bit, like, how do you like the business and everything like that? And he was like, I love it. And he was like, if you ever want to become a realtor, he's like, come talk to me.
Okay.
And it was like, I'll get you set up and we'll get you going. And at the time, that was like too big of a risk, because jumping into realty is like, if you don't have an additional stream of income and or a bulk of money to kind of sit on, you know, while you're trying to still get yourself set up and get yourself out there and start selling houses, right? Then it can be very difficult financially. So
Yeah.
I ended up just going, you know, kind of out of my mind and just decided I'm just going to jump full force into it. So I ended up quitting the trucking job and went right into schooling and talked with Clay. And yeah, we'd gotten set up and I just dove head first.
Yeah.
Which I know for a lot of people is like, that's crazy.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, because you hit on a lot of things. And for the younger people getting in, it presents its own set of challenges because they're younger.
Yeah.
But what they don't have is that fear that I had, that fear that you had of, I'm leaving what I do right now where it's steady income. It may not check all the boxes that I want it to check, but it's steady income and I've got a family to support.
Right.
And I'm leaving that and taking a little bit, you know, I don't know how old you are, but a little bit later in life, a leap into a brand new career that I don't really know too much about.
Yeah. Whether or not you're going to be successful.
Whether or not you're going to be successful, where there is no guaranteed money coming in. It's literally your income is 100% tied to your production. We're not clocking in and out here.
Right.
And that is scary.
Yeah. And it was, but it was exciting at the same time. And it's also what drove me. I started back in October and, you know, I got lucky enough to, when I switched over and finally got my license and everything like that, my mom just happened to be selling her house at the same time. Yeah.
Nice.
So she had already sold her house with Clay. Or I'm sorry, she had already bought her new house with Clay. And then she was going to put her old house on the market. So it kind of worked out. And it was actually the same childhood home that I grew up in. So
your very first listing was your childhood home.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a fun,
Wow.
It was a tricky situation too, because it was one of those moments where I was like, okay, I have to figure out how to be professional while being, you know, kind of emotional, but because it's my own, you know, the house that I grew up in, my mom's house. But I have to make sure that I find that fine line of doing what I'm supposed to, and while also making it a very nice moment for my mom.
Yeah. Oh man. Where was that house at?
Westchester.
Westchester. Jeez, man. That must have been.
It was a roll.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the hardest part was seeing people go in and out of the house and being like, that's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. It's my house. Yeah. Right. And then getting feedback. I mean, did it go quick?
It did. Yeah. We ended up, we listed it, I think it was Friday, and had it sold by Sunday.
Okay. Well, that makes it a little bit easier to just be done with it quick.
Yeah.
But the worst case scenario would have been you're on the market, people come through, they're giving you bad feedback.
And then I got to relay that back to my mom.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, she's already feeling some type of way. So
working with family as clients, I mean, it can be tough. It can be tough. Like,
yeah, because I could see how it could definitely like put people at bad terms, right? If something goes awry, not necessarily anybody's fault, but you know, something goes awry and then somebody's pointing the finger at somebody else. So luckily we didn't have that. We had
nice and smooth.
Yeah, it was honestly the smoothest deal I've had thus far.
Well, I mean, good. Yeah. Lucky you. It's such a friends and family business. You know, when you get going and you start off, the people that are more likely to use you are those people in your inner circle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you lucked out there that right when you got going, your mom had a house ready for you to list.
It was crazy timing, but it worked out.
But that was, I know we had our team meeting last week. I pulled up my very first year in real estate in the MLS, all my sales. And just to show the guys on my team, here are the houses I sold my very first year, and here's where they came from. here's how I got those clients. And it was all like sphere of influence stuff. About half of them were like literally friends or family, just close people, friends or family that, as luck would have it, happened to be looking or happened to be selling at that time.
And I feel like those also could have possibly made the transition for you becoming a realtor a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Because you're comfortable with these people, right? So you're able to, while you're learning and trying to figure out this road of the realty path, you're also trying to figure out contracts and figure out, how do I negotiate with people and all this and that. But at least you don't have, somebody behind your back that's yelling at you like, I want this, I want this, I want this.
They're definitely going to be a little more patient with you.
Yeah.
Because they know you, they know you're learning. They're glad to be be a that journey with you. It's dealing with the people that don't know you, that it's expect the
high quality,
top level service from you, and you're still trying to figure out what you're doing. So, but that part early is very helpful to have that kind of stuff, and but it helps get the ball rolling. It helps, like, okay, I'm working with some friends and family, I'm learning what I'm doing, but now I can start advertising a little bit.
Yeah.
Now I can start
out and trying to figure out, how you work as a realtor. Because there's been a lot of different ways that I've obviously social media is very big to get yourself out there, to let everybody know what you're doing and stuff like that, and then that can branch off into because you're friends with one person, that doesn't mean they can't share one of your posts, and then now it goes to a whole branch of other people.
Absolutely.
And then, you still got Zillow and Realtor.com and all these other lead generation places. And it's just figuring out your kind of way of how you want to go about finding your leads and whatnot. I think it's a big part of figuring out, you as a whole as a realtor.
It's, and we're all still learning and evolving. Did you happen to catch the one we did last week, the podcast where Clay was on it?
Yeah, the shorts.
Yeah, that didn't surprise me one bit. Clay's like, I've never worn shorts a day in my life.
He's a pants guy.
Yeah, he's a pants guy. He's a golfer, though.
He is.
And my wife made a good point when we were kind of going back through that episode. She goes, golf pants are like really comfortable. Like they look like nice, like slacks.
Yeah.
But they're like
a lot more comfortable.
It's like wearing a pair of like warm-ups.
Yeah.
So I think Clay's cheating the system a little bit. He looks like a professional.
He's got the working pants, but they're also very, very comfortable.
Yeah, very soft to the touch, I'm sure. So kudos, Clay. Maybe I'm going to go golf pant shopping later. But one thing we talked about was, we're all at like the same point in our career because we've been doing this all, we're all in our 13th year. Everybody who was on the episode last week, which is kind of why we wanted to do that one.
Is that crazy to think about? You guys been doing this for 13 years?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it really is, because in some rooms that I'm in, I am the experienced realtor.
Right.
And I do feel, I am an experienced realtor. I'm doing it long enough to say, okay, yeah, I'm experienced here. In other rooms that I'm in, you got some of these realtors that have been doing this 20, 30 years plus, and they've seen everything.
Yeah, everything.
And then you feel like, you feel like a baby in that room. Like, what do I know? You must look at me and think, oh, this kid thinks he knows everything.
Got experiences on experiences on experiences.
Yeah. So there, it's two different ways. Yeah. It is crazy to think we've been doing it this long. And then even crazier to think, man, there are people still out here crushing it that have been doing it 3 times as long as me.
Yeah, and they have a totally different way probably that they go about doing things.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's what's cool about this, is you start to learn how everybody does their business, and you start picking up on things, and you're like, oh, I like that. That was a really good idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you see other things, and you're like, oh, okay, I could see that working, right?
There is that, right? We all borrow from each other. And so what is happening? I've got myself tangled up down here. We all borrow from each other because we all have different approaches, things that work for us. And one thing that this podcast has been really, really good about is kind of sharing some of those ideas. You know, like some people some people have some closely guarded secrets. Like, listen, I don't want to. There are certain things that set us apart that are unique to us.
Yeah.
Like I have things I'm not trying to put out there to everybody that I do. But there's plenty that I'm willing to share because ultimately I want other agents, if they can take anything away from anything on this podcast that's going to help them with their business, I want that. I want us all to be better.
Yeah. Yeah. For everybody to succeed.
Right. Because it's because as much competition as we're in, we still have to work together.
Yeah. And that's one of I would say that was a big thing for me starting out, was trying to figure out, like, because you see it in like, I don't know, like TV shows or whatever, where it's like you're going through these really tough negotiations, and it can get very tough and it can get very frustrating.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like we're all just trying to work together.
We're trying.
There's one goal, like the sellers, they want to sell their house, right? And our buyers, they want to buy the house. So we got to be able to work together to come out with some conclusion. So don't trying to find that line of like, how do I best describe this? Like basically figuring out how to work with the other realtor but at the same time, like, not become too close or too not like unfriendly, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, because your top priority is still what's best for your client.
Yeah.
And that's not always going to be what's best for the other agent and their
exactly.
client.
And nobody wants to be a bad guy, right?
No, no. And so you have to find that balance. We're all working towards the same goal. However, we want to get there with taking the absolute best care of our side of the transaction,
right,
and sometimes at the expense of the other.
Yeah.
You know, as a seller's agent, you're trying to get them the most money with the fewest strings attached.
Right.
As a buyer's agent, you're trying to get them the best deal with the most protection in place for their purchase.
Yeah.
And those two things are diametrically opposed at times. So that's a very real thing that we're all navigating through, but we should be able to do that and by staying respectful to each other.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because ultimately we're still going home to our families and our houses, and we have to remember that this is our job.
Yeah.
And it's not, like if I have a client who's, who a deal's falling apart and they're not getting their house, or I have a client who wrote an offer and it's a great offer and it didn't get accepted, that's not my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So
it's hard not to take that personal.
Yeah. It's if you figure out how at some point, let me know.
Yeah. Cause like it's not taking it too personally, I think is what I've kind of done when it comes to some negotiations in the very beginning.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to take a step back because I don't want to, obviously I want to try to do what's best for my client. And sometimes I feel like, especially like when I was first starting out, like I could have done better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that was a tough part starting out, I gotta say.
But it's good that you acknowledge that, right? Because there's always things that we could do better. But very, very rarely do you get done and go, I handled every aspect of that perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because then you can apply what you learned, move forward, do better the next time. And you're always still kind of like growing and learning. And you brought up what you see on the TV shows. Mm-hmm. It was a big reason I started doing this podcast is because I love real estate TV shows, but I also hate them at the same time. I love them for entertainment.
Yeah.
I hate how they portray the industry that we work in.
Because it's not like that at all.
Oh, man.
And nobody, I don't think, I think a lot of people that are outside of like realtors that already do the job, a lot of people can look at realtors like very negatively. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
I do.
We're just trying to help you guys. Like that is.
I do. But, and as somebody who has my entire career put myself out there on social media, which is, I've never went the route of like, putting myself out there in print. When I started doing this, that was still very much the way people advertised.
Yeah.
Newspaper, magazines, postcards in print. My whole career has been digital. And so I've been putting myself out there. But what you don't have when you send out a postcard to 500 people are people responding back with troll comments. You know what I mean? What you don't have is the negative. If you take an ad out in a newspaper, you don't have people responding to you going, nobody needs realtors anymore. Blah, blah. They might, some people might think it, and that's fine, but it doesn't come back to you. When you put yourself out there digitally, you open yourself up to all of the internet trolls out there. And you become very hyper aware of the perception that exists.
And I think that's why a lot of people don't use social media quite as much is that fear response, right?
Sure.
Right. Is they don't want to go on there and get the troll comments, or they don't want to put themselves out there and get that negative response.
So much of it is, negative response or no, just putting yourself out there takes, you can probably relate to, it's like as a dancer, it takes a certain level of like, okay, this is me just, quote unquote, just bearing it all kind of for people here, in a sense, right? Like metaphorically. And so that can be scary for a lot of people. And the same reason that I can't get a lot of agents to come do this with me. This part right here. And this is
getting in front of the camera and talking. And
this is a business of extroverts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can't get,
you'd be surprised at how many people are, they're, even me, I'm very extroverted, but it's hard for even me to sometimes get on social media and make a post or make a video or do this and do that because of, I'm human, and at the same time, I see those social media posts and those troll comments and stuff like that, and I'm like, but I think once you start doing it and once you start getting over those being afraid of somebody commenting something negative, it becomes so much easier.
I will tell you that it is time, right? It becomes easier. Part of it is the confidence that you gain after so much experience in this business.
Yeah.
Right. So I put out TikToks and I enjoy it. And they're informative. They don't make me any money. There's no business that comes with that because TikToks aren't regional. They go all over.
It's just entertainment.
That's all it is. But I put out like, hey, here's an experience I had. Here's what I learned. Hey, if you're looking to, buy or sell, maybe here's some things to think about. These are the TikToks I put out there. They're just to be helpful to people. And it invites so many comments from trolls talking about how useless we are as realtors, right? And then they come after me. And instead of curling up in a ball, I think I have been doing this for over a decade with hundreds and hundreds of transactions under my belt. Whoever this person is not even close to being on my level as far as knowledge about real estate.
Right.
So let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let me get you on the podcast real quick.
Let's do it then. I'm going to take your comment and I'm going to make a response video to your comment. And what do they call that? Ratio? I'm going to dominate you in this, and you can try to come back if you want, but I'm going to make you look really stupid, and it's going to be fun, and it's going to make good content for me. And
for the next video.
Yeah, for the next video. So so now I'm at the point where I embrace it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, bring on the negativity, please. Please tell me about how much more you know than me about this. This will be fun. Right. So anyhow, I don't know if there's some sort of sickness attached to that I have, but I try not to think too much about that.
I think it's just overcoming a bad situation, right? And being able to adapt.
Yes. Yeah. I like that better.
In realty, you have to be able to adapt, right? Every situation is going to be different.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to have to kind kind of do to overcome those certain situations, like if a house under appraises, or
Ugh.
if some money falls apart towards the end of the deal, or there's a lot of different things, and you got to be quick to be able to think about how you're going to handle that. So
Yeah.
I think when it comes in terms of a troll on TikTok, being able to adapt in the way that you have to be able to take that and make it a plus and not a negative, then I mean that's the best possible outcome,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's fun. It only takes a minute. Yeah. You know what I mean? A lot of times I do it when I'm waiting. I'll pull up to a house to show
You're like,
a house.
I think I'm going to comment back to this.
Yeah. And I'm waiting. My client's not there yet. And they'll send me a text. I'll be there in 10 minutes. I'll be like, oh, well, it gives me time to record a quick video.
Yeah, and I've been, I need to get more on creating, because I I started doing dancing / realtor videos, and hashtag Springfield's dancing realtor.
Right.
And I've slowed down on it, and I need to get back to it, because it was fun, and it was being able to engage people like that, and do the two things that I love doing. But it takes a lot of time.
It does.
That's the issue.
It does. So this is why I brought up last week's episode, because we're talking about now that we are in it's like such a flooded space, and social media and realtors. It's because now we've all learned this is where everybody's at.
Right.
They're not waking up in the morning and reading the newspaper with their coffee. They are scrolling through their phone.
Yeah, the second they wake up sometimes.
Yeah, right. And so that has taken over newspaper. So newspaper is now social media. So that's where everybody is. So that's where we need to be marketing. So every realtor is now in that space. So then we have to figure out,
How do we stand out?
how do we stand out? You, my friend, have something that no one else does.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have it. I mean, it's not like it is a bit of a gimmick.
I know, and that's one of the hard things about it, is because I don't want to come off as this guy's a jokester. Oh, this guy's funny. Does he know what he's doing? Right.
Right. Let me see if I can put your mind at ease a little bit there. See if I can help. All right. Because people are just as worried about, is this a person I want to spend a lot of time with?
Right.
You know what I mean?
At the
Like,
same time, yeah.
Or is this just some buttoned up stiff saying, well, the market this month, because people don't want to spend time with that person.
Yeah.
They don't sound fun to be around. Somebody with like a personality, and I say it's a gimmick, but that's not a bad thing. Like this is a gimmick.
Right.
Well, like this is a way for me to have myself out there more, doing something that no one else is doing.
Right.
Now I'm able to talk into a microphone. I've been broadcasting as long as you've been dancing.
Yeah.
So I have something that other people don't.
Right.
And I'm very aware of that.
And you get to meet people.
And exactly. Like this is, as much as I'm wanting, as much as I enjoy like kind of spreading knowledge out there to the public, and as much as other realtors have gained from this, nobody's gained more than me.
Yeah.
From this.
Yeah.
I'm picking the brains of every single agent that comes on here.
Yeah.
Like, and I get to use all that knowledge and take away from that everything I want. I'm getting to put my face out there every week on social media, that something that no one else is doing. And that's this.
Yeah, and you're also at the same time you're coaching other people, because when you're putting these videos out online and you have these new realtors come and start doing this, they can go to your podcast.
Sure.
And they can see all these experienced people and how all these experienced people started out, right? And
Yeah.
they can start to relate to those people and be like, oh, okay, well, this is like a really big person when it comes to like real estate, and they started out the exact same way I did, right?
There you go.
Nervous about their first contract, and nervous about this and nervous about that. Yeah. And then they eventually got over it. So why can't I?
Exactly. So it serves so many purposes, but again, none greater than my own. So, and I'm open with that. Like this is great for so many things. One of the things that is most great about it is keeping me, present.
Yeah. When it comes to
When people are scrolling through social media, they're seeing, hey, here's somebody who not only sells real estate, but host a podcast talking about it.
Yeah.
That people are listening to.
Yeah.
That's good for me. So you have something that other people don't. Right? So what you have to do is find a way to couple that part of it, because you have the attention grabbing part.
Right.
You know what I mean? You've got
The dance.
You've got the dance moves, man. You're the dancing realtor. Super cool. Now you couple that with, how do I tie in real estate to this? To also say, I know what I'm doing as well, right? Like, I'm fun guy to be around. You're going to want to spend time with me. I'm obviously different than all the, like, there's 500 agents or so that are servicing this area. I'm different than them right off the bat.
Right.
But also, I know what I'm doing.
Right.
So that's what you have to figure out.
Yeah,
How do you couple that?
I think there's a little 3-part trifecta that I would like to try to do, right? Where one is, I have my soul dancing videos where it's just me having fun, doing choreography.
Yeah.
And hopefully putting out some kind of dance choreography that somebody looks at and like, I want to learn that dance. Right?
Yeah.
And then I have the second part, whereas I'm starting to do a little bit of the mix of the both. So I'm starting to do dancing, and maybe I'm doing it at an open house, or maybe I'm doing it at at the end of a contract or something like that, right? Where I'm mixing it in with realtor. And then I think on the other part, I need to do something that's a little bit more geared towards real estate itself, right? So it doesn't only show that I'm not just
This guy's an excellent dancer. Yeah. 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 That's what, and that's what I was saying. That's the challenge, man. It has to be equal parts. Mm-hmm. It's attention grabbing, but it's got to be equal parts. Real estate still matters.
Yeah.
And you can figure that out, right? And you can tweak
And I think
and adjust.
watching podcasts like this will help people be like, that's how I start to get my knowledge. All right.
Yeah, hopefully, hopefully. And I know, like, I've got a guy, it's a really good buddy of mine that I've known forever. Shout outs Darren, working on getting his real estate license now, but he's gone back and listened to like every podcast. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the reasons that he thought, yeah, I do want to get into this, and I want to come work with you because of the way I talk about how I run my business. It's like, you're the type of person I want to come work with.
Right.
And so, like, does
that keep pushing you to continue doing stuff like this? You know what I mean? Like, give you like a, my podcast helped this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. For the most part, I just really enjoy this.
Right.
Right. Like, for the most part, I really have fun sitting down and talking with other agents. I'm a social person by nature.
Yeah.
I love talking to people. I have very few phone calls that are like shorter than 10 minutes. Very few.
You're a phone call guy, then, not a text message.
Oh, yeah. I'm so much.
I'm the same way. I'm like, if I can call somebody and talk to them, why would I just text them?
So much gets lost in a text message. You know,
Clay, when I was first starting off, I know he hated it because I would be calling him at all hours. Like, hey, man, I got a question. He's like, dude, it's 9:00 at night.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I got a good question.
Yeah. Well, and Clay knows, like, that's what you sign up for.
Yeah, exactly.
Your team lead, that's what you signed up for. I called Mike Busher at 7:00 last night, and he picked up.
Yeah.
So,
he acts like he hates it, but I know you like it.
Yeah, but that's like, that's part of it, man. That's what you sign up for. So I'm a talker, right? I mean, I'll text too if need be, but I would so much rather have a conversation with somebody. Like, my motto is always like, make the call.
Yeah.
Because we can get so much done. This is years and years ago. I had a buyer that was a rural development buyer, mm-hmm. right? And we were having some issues, like going into like week of closing when lender was going, we don't have the clear to close. I can't, the real development hasn't sent it over yet. Blah, 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 something. Whatever the case was. And we were going to have to delay closing. So what did I do? I called the rural development office myself.
Yeah.
Just made the call.
What is going on?
I thought, talk to somebody. Hey, what's going on? Can you, we're trying to close on this. Can you guys, hit yes on whatever button you have to hit that for whatever reason nobody's done yet?
Yeah.
Because that's all it is these days, right? And just
at a computer being like, oh,
yeah,
if I was supposed to do this.
Just click yes, please, so we can close. And they did.
You
and
guys
that
were
was
still
it.
able to close that day.
Yeah, we closed when we were supposed to. It was not delayed.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of times because this business is so dependent on so many other people doing things, right? Like we're taking care of our clients. The other agent taking care of their clients. Title companies doing their job. Lenders doing their job. Appraisers doing their job. Everybody has to do their job. Contractors are making repairs, and everybody has to do their job to keep one transaction together.
Right.
Sometimes.
Keep everybody else on their toes.
Right. And so then when you check in, hey, what's going on here? Well, I haven't heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have found making those phone calls very helpful because being able to call a lender that my buyer's working for and be like, hey, how's this process going? He's like, oh, I'm still waiting back on a piece of paper from your buyer.
Right. Yeah.
So then I call my buyer up and I'm like, hey, he's looking for this, this
Right.
statement or whatever. And he's like, oh, yeah, I forgot to send it to him.
Yeah.
So being able to do something like had I not done that, who knows how long that would have went.
Who knows? People have a tendency to just wait for someone else to do it.
Yeah.
And so my motto is always make the call. If you don't want to, I will.
Yeah.
But make the call like that. And you get so much more done. And it seems like, well, that's not my job. But it is.
Push it off to the next guy and then push it off to the next guy.
But it is, because you think about what is our number one, our job is what? Top priority, taking care of our clients, right?
Yeah.
And so if the best thing you can do for your client is make a phone call to some other part of the transaction where things aren't happening the way they should in a timely fashion, then that is your job.
Right.
You're not overstepping.
Right.
You're taking care of your client. So I'm always like, yeah, man, make the phone call. And text, so much gets lost.
It does. I do use it as reminders a lot, though. I'll make a phone call and then I'll text the person and be like, I'm just putting this in a text just so I can remind myself.
Not bad to have.
Because I'll have so many conversations and I'll be like, what did I tell them? Oh, yeah, that's right. Send a text message.
You're right. And that has come back to bite me. That has come back to bite me, being a phone call guy in those instances. Like, no, we talked about this, remember? No, we didn't.
Did we?
I thought we did. Maybe we didn't. Shoot, we talked about a lot. I talk a lot.
Yeah.
We should have probably put this in writing, which is a big part of our job too. Mm-hmm. So talk, then send a confirmation text.
Yeah.
There. See, we solved it, man.
Yeah. See,
look at us.
You do even do voice memos.
Yeah. Anything at all.
If you don't want to do the text messages.
All right, so let's get into. I mean, I feel like people are getting to know you pretty well here, right? Which is great.
I don't know. I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, so you started in October.
I started in October, yes.
And you knew Clay. You guys have known each other.
Yeah. So he went to LRS, and my brother also went to LRS. Everybody went to LRS.
Yeah, right.
Both my brothers actually did, and so they were already like really good friends, and yeah, so I had reached out to Clay and told him I wanted to become a realtor, starting in October, and it's gone really good. Obviously, I joined like right towards winter, right towards the hard month, and that's when I decided like I'm gonna go head first, and it was really good. And it still is really good, but it's, during that wintertime, how it starts to slow down, it's really made me start to realize, like, okay, during the wintertime, I need to be doing something a little bit different that keeps the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Right? And try to keeps the gears running. And that's been a difficult kind of curve to try to figure out.
Planting seeds is what I call it, because we put in work in real estate that doesn't pay off for months.
Yeah.
And when you talk to somebody, they go, hey, you staying busy? Yeah, staying really busy. And they go, oh, good for you. Yeah, it'll be good for me in like May. Yeah.
3 months from now.
Yeah. But yes, I'm busy. But yeah. And so you learned that because you jumped in and right when we went to the slow time.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, not only is this a business that is inconsistent and unpredictable, but there are slow times.
Yeah.
There's nothing coming in, and you have to figure out a way to generate some business so that when this year starts and the sun comes out, you start closing on some stuff.
And I got really lucky with the team that I'm working with, because they're fantastic and have helped me every step of the way with every question, which is a lot of questions.
Sure.
That I've been able to come up with. But at the same time, like I started off really strong. So within my first 2 months, I had 5 houses under contract.
Okay.
And it was like a lot to just go from like just starting out to being like knees deep into it, right? So
Yeah.
like it was, and then now it's starting to slow down, and now I'm like sitting here trying to figure out, what do I do with my time? How can I get myself out there a little bit more, or how can I bring in more leads and this and that. It's been a trip.
So
To go from like the really high of the roller coaster right off the front, and then starting to come down at the bottom, right? So,
yeah, no, embrace it, buddy. Yeah. That's the entire career.
Welcome to winter.
Yep. So the question I have, because you had, did you say 5 contracts in your first 2 months?
I did, yes.
It was very good. Congratulations. We know that one was your mom.
Yes.
Which is awesome. Where did the other 4 come from?
Social media and honestly, Clay. He helped me out with a lot of the buyer leads that would come in, and
Sure.
he'd be like, "Here you go. Here's practice."
Yeah.
And I would take those leads and I would call them up and I would talk to them, and we'd get some showings set up, and I think being a people person helped a lot, because it's like you said, these people got comfortable with me very easily, because I was, when I first met them, I wasn't like, like you said, a step. I was friendly, I was outgoing, I was just honestly trying to help them.
Yeah.
Right? And that, I think they sensed that, and so they just kind of decided to stick with me, and we ended up finding houses for them, and it's been great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's certainly the right approach. What we've noticed, and I'm sure all of the other agents have noticed this too, because we have some leads coming in as well, and towards around that time, like October, November, they were coming through. December, January, barely any leads were coming through, right? And so so we're going, hey, I had Chase Martin on my team go, hey, have the leads just been, like, man, they haven't been anything. Yeah. Like the phone's not buzzing. It's starting to a little bit now.
I've noticed as it gets warmer out, people are like, all right, now's the time to go look.
There's a direct correlation, man. But it's the reason I asked you where those other ones came from is because that's for new agents getting in. The challenge is, where does my business come from?
Yeah, where does it start?
Right? How do I get clients? And I preach nonstop sphere of influence.
Yeah.
Right? It's you are connected to so many people in one way, shape, or form. You are. If you've been in this area, if you've grown up in this area, especially, if new people moving in from out of town, that's going to be tougher.
Yeah.
Right? Young people, whose friends, social circles are years and years away from buying their first house. That's another obstacle. But still, the people that you are even semi-acquainted with, just people that aren't even necessarily, not people you would hang out with. You might even, in the grocery store, just maybe give them a, hey, how you doing? You're not even going to stop and chat.
Yeah. Acquaintances.
Yeah. Still people that you need to reach out to on the front end.
And, all it takes is you making one post that has something to show people that you're doing real estate. And,
Sure.
And people are going to be like, oh, he's a realtor now? Well, I was just getting ready to look for a house.
Right.
Let me reach out to him real quick.
Yeah. Potentially. Right. And that is at least making them aware. Mm-hmm. I always say go one step further, send that person a message. A direct message.
Take the initiative.
Yeah. It literally takes maybe 2 hours time, and you can send out hundreds of messages.
Yeah.
That says, hey, hope you're doing well. Just wanted to let you know this is what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
If you know anybody or if you yourself, I'd appreciate it.
Right.
Thanks a lot. That's it. You're not, hey, click this link. You're not asking for any money. You're not asking them to. That's it. Yeah. And it's a direct message. So it's not just something they scroll past. It's a direct line. And so that's what I'm trying to, because that's what I did when I started. And that was the practice. That was what I was showing my team last week. That's when I pulled up everything I sold in my first year. And I was like, all these people came to me. Either one is just a friend or family. Like family, I had a few family deals, but even the friend ones were ones that I had sent personal message to.
Right.
Right? That, hey.
Somebody you hadn't talked to in a long while, and you're like, hey, how you doing? You know, it's just...
Had I posted on Facebook that I was a realtor now? Yeah, of course. But I sent them a message.
Right.
They responded to the message. Hey, actually, as a matter of fact, I am. And there were quite a few in there that person came to me as a referral from someone I had sent a message to. Right? So they were like, oh, I'm not, but this guy I work with is.
So then it became word of mouth, and
right.
That extra person.
And then I had it's a great story. So my very first year, a girl I like rode the bus with when I was a kid, sent her a message on Facebook. She wasn't looking, but a guy she worked with was. So he called me. We bought him a $60,000 starter house in Springfield. A few years later, he was ready to sell it. He was married now. They needed something bigger, so we listed it. We listed it for, I don't know, maybe double what he paid for it because he'd done some work.
Right.
So we got him like 120 for it. And I ended up being a dual agent on that one. So I got new clients out of that deal too, that moving forward. But then he and his wife went and bought almost a $300,000 house just a couple of years ago.
Right. So helping from that one very first $60,000 deal.
From a referral from a person who wasn't even looking herself.
Yeah.
Just referred a guy to me to buy a $60,000 house is now turned into $60,000 plus dual agent on a 120, which that's 240 right there to then a 300 almost. Right. So like that's what I was trying to show.
Snowball effect.
Yeah. And that's what this business is. Yeah. It's you put in the work on the front end and then it starts coming back around to you. But if you don't do that part on the front end, who knows? This guy and his wife would be working with probably somebody totally different.
And I'm sure a lot of new agents that start, they expect things to either go very quickly in the very beginning or very slowly or whatever. And I mean, what do the statistics say that like in the first 2 years is when
like over 80% don't make it?
Yeah. And it's because they don't realize that after that point, that's when that snowball is starting to take effect.
Yeah.
Right.
That's exactly
That's when, you start getting out there. Everybody's starting to, hear your name and see what you're doing and see how well you're doing things. And then those little seeds are starting to blossom.
Yeah.
So.
And then we've got a lot. I've just started at the end of last year actually paying for leads. I'd never in my career done that. And I didn't really do too much like advertising. My advertising budget was in the hundreds, not the thousands. Right. And my whole career was nothing but repeat and referral.
Right.
That was it. And now I'm like, okay, well, now I've got a team working under me. I kind of need to blow this up a little bit more. So I got to start investing back into actually doing some real advertising and trying to generate.
When you started, did you start on a team? Or
no.
You were solo?
Yeah. Solo agent. It's a different landscape back then. There were teams, sure, but not like now.
Right.
And we had in place here specific like new agent training.
Right.
There was a guy here that they brought over, Pat Sellinger, who you've probably heard referenced on here several times, specifically to work with new agents. Nowadays, I mean, we've got the coffee and questions that is kind of like helpful and stuff, but as far as day-to-day new agent training, we don't have that.
Right. It's all dependent on, if you join a team.
Yeah. And it's because so many, it doesn't make sense because so many agents coming on just go right to a team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that's up to the team and the team lead to provide that training. So if I don't know what I would have done if I were starting now. I don't know if it would be the same. I like myself personally, because I've got this weird, this weird kind of, I don't want to say arrogance, but I want it to be my name on everything.
Yeah.
I want it to be my, like, I don't know even if I started now if I would start by joining a team.
Yeah.
But I really, it's very important to me to learn how to do this job well and do it correctly.
Yeah. And I think that's why I was so excited to join a team and be so thankful of the team that I've gotten, is because I am one of those people that I watch other people, right? And I see how they interact and I see how they do things, and I pick up on those little things, and then I incorporate that into what I do. So like going out and watching Clay and Karen and how they do the things, I can pick up on like, oh yeah, like I really like that, right?
Yeah.
And see how they interact and how they deal with certain situations, I guess, is the biggest, because I don't like walking into situations and not know what I'm doing.
Sure.
Right? Not I don't like the which you're going to have, you're always going to have those situations, right? You walk into something and you're not prepared for it.
Yeah.
But I like to be as prepared as possible. So being able to like be on a team and watch people around me and figure out like, oh, that's what he did in that situation. Mm-hmm. Now I know when I come up to a similar situation, how I can kind of go about handling that.
Yeah. And then you have to make it your own too, right? So you can hear the way that Clay talks to a client, and you can hear the way that he, goes over a contract and explains it.
Right.
Right. And what, like at first you're just going to kind of be like mimicking and reciting.
Right.
Because you don't really know it as your own yet.
Yeah.
But eventually it turns into your own.
Right.
You make it your own. You explain it your way. You talk to and converse with your clients the way that you do it, and not the way you heard someone else do it.
Right.
But at first you kind of do have to do it like that because you don't know.
But as you get a little bit more comfortable, you can start tweaking it to your own liking.
Exactly.
Right? And then it becomes more comfortable, and then it becomes more fluent, and then picking up the phone and making that first conversation with somebody, or talking, explaining a contract to somebody, it becomes so much more easier.
Yeah.
And then you got your own way of doing it. So
and I think it's important, at least for me, in my thought in building my team, and it's all relatively new territory for me because I was never on a team, and I just now decided to build one last year. You
started it last year.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, at the end of last year. But I it's really important to me to allow my agents who are working, with me to establish their own brand and their own identity. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be the Pedigo team looming large over everything that they do. Right. Like it's because you
want them to be able to stand that.
They need to be able to thrive in they're building their own business. Yeah. They're doing it, yes, as part of the Pedigo team, but it's the same. It's like a mini brokerage. I kind of look at it the same way, right? Like when I came here as an independent agent to the real estate group, people were hiring me. They weren't hiring the real estate group.
Right.
And it needs to be the same way. Right. So the agents on my team need to be able to establish their own identity independent of me.
Yeah. And then if they need help, they can come back.
I'm here.
And yeah, exactly.
Right. And I'm going to help them grow that business and show them kind of what worked for me and what didn't, and that kind of stuff, and hopefully eliminate some of those obstacles for them so they can, a little bit more fast track to the success part of this. I mean, that's the goal and the idea. But they have to be able to build their own, right? Mm-hmm. So that part's important, is at least to me, and I don't know if that's the right way or the wrong way. That's just my thought.
Was being able to teach and coach people, especially on a team that you're not used to, how was that learning curve? Because I can see it be like, for some people it could be very nerve-wracking trying to coach and teach other people. For you, I think you're a very outgoing person.
Yeah,
I feel like it came kind of naturally.
It is. Yeah, yeah.
But did you have you liked that more than you kind of expected? Or
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. This is I really enjoy kind of sharing what I've learned over the years. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoy teaching people if I can. You know, from my experiences, my way's not always the best way, and I sure don't know everything there is to know. But I think I know enough to be able to teach people how to do the job well.
Right.
And you know, one of our agents is my oldest son. So like that was kind of, and he was the first one. It was him getting his license is what kind of pushed me into finally starting a team, right?
Nice.
It's like, okay. And so teaching him, it was kind of helpful because he was the first person I actually taught
Right.
the business. And so
Teaching him his whole life.
yeah, right. And he's grown up in it. And so now that he's actually doing it and we're there, we live together. So it's, you know, it's kind of like nonstop learning real estate all over again.
Yeah.
So, but either way, this is, it does come natural to me. So and
I think that's one of the reasons why I also decided to become a realtor was obviously with my background, I love being able to coach and teach people. And I've already gone through the process of buying a house a couple of times, and there's things that I wish that I had been more prepared on, right? And
Sure.
and then things that I would have I wish that I was a little bit more aware about. And so I came into it thinking, well, if I can go into that situation, if I can walk somebody into the house and help them not, you know, buy the house and then, you know, something falls apart and something like that. Because I also have a background of being a handyman. So I've been able like fixing up houses and doing all these little tidbits here and there in the house. I'm already used to. So I'm able to walk into a house and be like, that's going to cost you.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's so useful, man.
And just saving somebody from thousands of dollars after they've already just bought the place, I think is or coaching them along the process to where they know what to look for.
And so I think you just hit on something that's important, right? Because we focused a lot on teaching and coaching agent to agent. Mm-hmm. But we are also teachers and coaches to our clients.
Yeah, because they're new to this.
Yeah, right. And so that's another thing we have to do is like, all right, when we're teaching other agents how to do this, we're teaching them to teach.
Yeah.
You know, because it's our job to educate our clients and
Not
the
only
process
does
and what's
it
going on.
make them more comfortable, but it also, you know, if you teach them thoroughly through the first process of buying a house, when they come to sell that house and buy a new one, you know, you've already done your part. So now they know what they're doing. They know what to start looking for. And it just makes the whole process so much easier. Too.
Yeah. Preach, brother. You, I know you've got to get to Decatur.
I do,
right?
yes.
What's going on there? What do you got?
I've got a lady that I've been working with that she has been looking at quite a few houses and kind of all over the area. And she found a house. She currently lives out in Decatur, and she's finally found a house out there that she really, really likes, and she wants to kind of go see. So we're going to pop out there and go take a look at it and see what happens.
That's a good.
I got to say, I did not expect so much driving as a realtor, because I'm used to it as a truck driver.
Sure.
So I'm like, oh yeah, driving, like whatever. But driving from Decatur to Jacksonville to Quincy to Champaign. I mean, I'm all over. So
that's a lot. And you get to the point, I think, a little bit later in your career where it's like, what price range are we shopping in? And then you decide like, okay, is this worth maybe just finding an agent there and then collecting a referral fee, or actually doing this myself?
Right.
So
I know people would text me and they're like, can we see this house out in Champaign?
Yeah.
And it's like $100,000 house. And I'm
yep.
absolutely.
We have Champaign agents. Yeah. So, all right, man, I will let you get out of here. Jeremy, great job.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah. No, I feel like we could have gone another hour easy.
I know. Yeah, definitely.
How many times did you look at the camera?
Only when I wanted to.
But it wasn't a presence that was affecting anything.
No, didn't even notice it half the time.
You hear that, agents out there?
Yeah. No, everything is very, very, no, this has been a blast.
Yeah. Comfortable, right?
I say anybody who wants to come on and talk and just kind of tell yourself, tell him about yourself, then I would say do it.
I appreciate it. All right, man. Thanks for coming on. See you guys hopefully next week. I need to find a guest, but
hey, just send him an email.
Real estate for real.